Fancy seeing you guys here. It's almost as if you helped fund my entire short film, reaching our goal of $8,500. For those of you just joining us, I'm Justin Winch, the writer-director of the short film Silent, a fantasy action film that hopes to combine elements of high fantasy like Lord of the Rings with the intense action of films like John Wick. The goal with this short film is to then use it as a pitch to create a feature. We did a fundraiser on Indiegogo to help get this film made because everybody involved is putting in a lot of free time and effort, but at the end of the day, there are costs associated with making something, especially with the scope and the quality that we hope to achieve. So originally, we kind of expected the minimum we could do to make this happen was around 5 to 6 grand, and then we decided to set our goal to 8,500 because that would be okay. We can film for full 3 days. We can get high quality props. So we started the fundraiser about a month ago. And initially, it was really awesome to see how many of my friends and family donated, contributed right away. It was so exciting. I think I had to temper my expectations because there was a part of me that thought maybe I'm really excited about this idea. And everyone I talked to, the people, involved, were all really stoked on it. And so there was a part of me that thought maybe like this will just explode and like social media will freak out about this cool new idea, and then everybody will be bringing in all of this money, and maybe everybody kind of goes through that stage of like, well, first of all, like money's tight, and we're all like budgeting the best we can. And so for people to make purchases, there's a lot that goes into that. I mean, I work in marketing, so I know how hard it is, how many ads somebody has to see before they decide to commit to a product. Just because somebody sees a video and thinks that's a cool idea, it doesn't mean like they're going to put money into it, because that's a big deal. So I tempered my expectations, and Ian, the producer, and I sat down and were like, realistically, what would happen if we only made this much? What could we make work? Really, at no point was I ever disappointed. Like I was just so grateful for all the support we had received. And it was just like, okay, like this is what we have to make it happen. So how can we adjust? But then we got to the last week. There was like an element of, okay, I hope we can get a little bit more, because there are some things that I'm really excited about that we just need some more money to make happen. So we reached out, just kind of reminding some people, hey, like if you're interested, this is still going on. And then I don't know if it was just the like all of our like prayers and hopes had just added up to like then we hit this threshold where we broke through a ceiling, or if the crunch time deadline just had people be like, oh yeah, like now's the time. But in the last day and a half of the fundraiser, we went from, honestly, from about 1,500 to, and some of you don't know this, but we got to the full 8,500 of the fundraiser. Between Indiegogo, which you guys, some of you could have seen the numbers there, and some outside donations, we reached our full goal. It was crazy. I'm emotionally exhausted because like the highs and the lows of like, wait, is this really happening? And everybody, like people who I haven't talked to for years, were just like, yeah, like follow your dreams. Over 80 people donated. It was just mind blowing. Sorry, I know I'm rambling. This experience was crazy. Like, I feel very loved, and it just was a reminder. And I think for everybody that, like, you have people in your life who are there to support you. And if you're ever in like a time of need, or you have hopes or dreams, like, there are people in your life who will be there for you. So I was just like so overwhelmed by how much support we receive, because this is a film, this is an update on the production, not just we've reached this goal, but I also want to let you guys know where things are at with the film. Last video I talked about how the goals were to make the shot list. We haven't finished the shot list, but we have made progress. What it's become is, as much as I want to go through and be like, this is what I think everything should look like in my head, once you're actually there in person seeing the stunts being performed, there are elements that like change, because you're like, wait, this could look different. You're looking for that inspiration. So Asher, the DP, the director of photography, we've worked together to kind of come up with a visual language that I think will be very interesting and hopefully unique. And so he's been going to the stunt practices with Kent and his stunt team. And Kent's got all the choreography figured out, and so now Asher's coming in with his camera and his lenses, and he's looking at what angle could be the most interesting way to express this, this person's emotion or this action, and to create. I want to create this kind of like frenetic energy as the main character, the man, takes out the bad guys, the assailants, the soldiers. I'm really inspired by there's an animator named Alberto Mielgo, and he first of all, he is incredible, and you should look him up and look up his work because he is an artist, designer, and director, and he's created some incredible short films. There's one on Netflix called Hibaro. It's from the Love, Death, and Robots anthology series. And then he created this short for this video game called Marathon that's going to come out. One thing he's also like not as well known for, but has made a huge impact in the industry with, is he kind of came up with the style for the Into the Spider-Verse series, that like comic book, graphic line-esque design. And he's just got a really unique approach to animation. I'm not saying that we're going to look anything like his films, but it's just more like the idea of what he's doing really inspired me, kind of like lit a fire inside of me where I'm like, wait, we can like make something that might feel different. And maybe people won't like it, but I am personally very excited. And everything that we've captured so far with that style has gotten me very pumped. And it's like it brings something new to the fight, to the character. So that's the update. That's where we're at right now. And then there's also, now that we have the funds, we can really dive into gathering the props, because that costs money. And now we know how much we have to make that happen. Archie, who is going to be our prop master, and he has a lot of experience in film and choreography and acting. He's been involved in all of this for a long time, but he is really pulling a lot of strings to get us some equipment that is just going to look really, really cool. Finally, one step that I'm really excited to tell you guys about, that's kind of an interesting thing. There's a character called the Woman who's going to be played by Colette. She kind of has like this unique connection with nature, like just like the man. And there's a moment in the film, and I don't want to spoil too much, but where she kind of sings a song or uses like an ancient language, and I was trying to figure out how can I make something that sounds, like cool and cryptic, but I want to make it clear that this is a fantasy world, that this is like that this isn't just history, like this isn't just fiction, historical fiction, but I want it to be clear that this is like something, different universe entirely. And I just, after looking at, examples and samples of stuff that I thought would be interesting, I kind of realized that I just want to make my own language. Nothing too intense or in depth, but I'm actually pretty proud because, I did get my Spanish minor. I studied, linguistics. I took a lot of classes about how the Spanish language is formed, which was very interesting to learn. And like, I know more about that than I do about like English, which is funny, but it was very cool. And so it was nice to take the few things I learned and kind of like apply it to making, what an ancient dialect might be like. I'm still working on developing it and fleshing it out, and I obviously don't want to get like into spoilers, but like that's something I'm really pumped about. Um, just to kind of build more of this fantasy world and something that feels like really handcrafted. So that's where we're at right now, halfway through the shot list, getting the props, and working on that like element of the performance, that language and the song. So, oh man, guys, big video. Sorry. Thanks for sticking around to watch it all. Once again, thank you. Like, that isn't enough. Saying thank yous isn't enough, which is why we're gonna send, rewards. The rewards will roll out over the next year as we make the film and get the Dungeons and Dragons elements, the module, the minifigures made. There's I like once those things are in progress, I'll make some videos and show you guys what that stuff ends up looking like. But very excited. Yeah, we're about a month out from production. We're going to make a movie. It's all because of you guys, and I can't wait for you to see more. If you want to continue to follow the progress of our film, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.